guys. I don't know why I like doing that. Anyway, hey everybody. This is Kathy Job, and this is my 24th day. Okay. And my group is All Things Nonprofit. So I do speak about all things nonprofit, but for profit. Right. So just a quick review that my specialty is things nonprofit, but I also deal with for-profit businesses. Many of the processes and systems that we go through in for-profit, nonprofit applies to for-profit. Difference being, okay, anybody that's reviewed these videos, they know the difference in a nonprofit and a for-profit is what you do with the money at the end of the year or what you do with the profits at the end of the year. If there is any for a nonprofit, then you would put it back into the organization. You reinvest it. It has to go back into the organization. Salaries are salaries, and you cannot split because you're the president or the founder. You cannot split the profit because there is no ownership with a nonprofit organization. It is only just operations. So the board is held accountable for the operations and running of the nonprofit organization, but there's no owners, right? It's a public charity. But then for profit, then you have one owner or partners, more than one. And at the end of the year, however your partnership states or whatever, if it's 40, if it's 50-50, whatever your partnership agreement is, or if it's one owner at 100%, then any of the profits will go to that person or those people, right? Or those persons. So that is the major difference. The other is the mission and just the operation in general. There should be, for a nonprofit organization, some charitable reason. Even if it's a daycare, school, hospital, those organizations are known to make profits. But at the end of the year, it goes back into the organization. The goal is to start off the next year at zero. A for-profit organization, as I said, that one, it does not have to have a charitable reason. It cannot if they take up donations, where it wouldn't be called a donation because they would have to pay taxes on it. Now, for a nonprofit, there is a little difference on some of the activities like that makes money, makes profit. If it's more than, say, the charitable reason, or if it's the actual activity has nothing to do or has little to do with the actual mission, then they might have to pay taxes on that portion, but the rest of it they would not, right? So any money raised or anything like that gets to be a little bit more complex, but that's just in its simple form. So tonight, what I want to talk about, I almost ran out of things to talk about. Like, wow, really? But it's getting me ready for my own group to restart. So I'm going to do, this is the goal. I'm going to share so that way I'll be held accountable. If I do once a week, then that means there's 52 topics I have to talk about. But that shouldn't be too hard in the nonprofit. But needless to say, I have a group for profit and I have a creative writing group, which I went live today, but I didn't put it in this group. So it's kind of cool. All right, so back to the subject at hand. The topic tonight is systems. Systems with, I changed it from my paper, with a low budget, right? Almost a no budget, right? So again, what applies with nonprofit can apply for profit, right? So most of the time, I'm a serial entrepreneur. If I started businesses, I have a whole lot of money. So I found ways to start businesses with very little money. But systems are everything. I often will start off talking to people that I'm doing a like a discovery session, whatever they call it nowadays, discovery session, or that first time. And I let them know the name of the game is not to trust anyone. No one. Trust no one. My dad taught me that, right? He had another way of saying it, but you trust no one. At the end of the day, everybody is for self, right? If we're drowning on a boat, most of the time, people are going to save themselves. If you're on the plane, they tell you put the oxygen on you before you can even help the other person, right? So I'm going somewhere with this. When you put systems in place, the first thing people say is, well, if I put a system in place, what if it fails? Well, if you put systems in place, there's usually a system to check the system to check the system. But what you do want is any business that you start, you want to get out of that self-employment state. You want to get to the point of scaling up. The only way to do that is put systems in place, but you still need to have a general knowledge, just like for accounting systems. Even if you put the accounting system in there, you should still know, okay, this was paid, this is how much was made. You get a general idea. So there should not be a different, like major, like hundreds of dollars of a difference at the end of the month. If you do your counting checks, you do your reconciliation, once again, you'll catch if anybody's embezzling or anything else is going on. You put these systems in place, and I'll give you some idea. I said accounting, I need to write that down too, because there's accounting software that I use that's free. So the basic system that I want to talk about is just Gmail. Gmail. I think most of us know about Gmail. If you have Yahoo, Hotmail, any of those others, and you are doing business, you might be a little outdated. Okay, they keep talking about getting rid of those. So you want to come on over to the Google world, right? So just with Gmail, let me tell you just a few things that it does. First of all, that gives me my email, right? Now I will back up. You should have purchased a website and you have a domain name. Now, what I find with my nonprofit organizations, and it's getting like that with the for-profit, I cannot register, like there's something called GuideStar. I cannot register with many of the major funding sources with a public email address, which is Gmail. That is not considered credible, but you can use Gmail for your systems in your business. What I mean by that, a private email address is one with that ends behind that at. It should have your website address, your URL, whatever yours is. Mine is beawareandempower.com. So it's Kathy at beawareandempower.com. Now, I just learned this workaround because some things I think I know a lot about, but I just found out that I can use a forwarding to Gmail. Now, what I usually do is I have a particular service that I use, and I can get up to about 15 email addresses. And I can use that server, or I forgot what you call it, but I can use that to go to some, but oftentimes it's more convenient to go to my Gmail. But what you want to be able to do is to answer from your Gmail, your private email address. Okay. So for example, mine is A&E coaching at Gmail, but my private is Kathy at beawareandempower.com. So if I go in my Gmail, I should be able to drop down and click to respond to someone, Kathy at beawareandempower.com. First of all, it shows credibility, legitimacy of your business, right? And so with like sites like GoDaddy, and I'm sure some of the others, you can literally forward without even doing hosting. So I've learned that too. Because one business, what I had to do was get the domain name, and we forwarded it to Facebook because we needed to do that for this type of business. And you can do that if you have not developed a website yet or don't have the funds to do that yet. And you're just paying for the domain, which is payable every year. or you can stretch it out for 3 years, whatever your budget allows. So if I can forward multiple domains. Multiple email addresses. Now, even if it's just me and say another person that I'm working with, I want to have my name at the private domain name. I want to have their name at. I want to have HR at. I want to have info at. Info is usually the free one, the general that everybody gets. I had a janitorial construction company, and we always had a complaints at, right? So when there was a complaint, we tell them to email to complaints at, and then someone from the team would respond. Well, guess what? Pretty much all 4 emails went to me. All email addresses went to me. But it showed that we had a legitimate company. Okay. You just have to do it, okay? If you want to play the game or be in the game with the larger companies, even the medium-sized companies, and you don't have a lot of money, these are some little things that you can do, right? So Gmail, first and foremost, your calendar, right? You know what? I have these out of order. So we'll start with the Google Voice for those of us. I don't know if we can do it outside of the United States. For those of us in the United States, you can go Google Voice. Now there's even with GoDaddy, you can get phone numbers. And sometime you might want to, because now I'm finding out with Google Voice, you cannot register that. It does not register like if you want to register it on Google or Yelp or even getting money. I won't go deep into that. It is not registered as a commercial number because you do not want to use your cell phone number. But if you don't have much money, you use your Google Voice number, which is still free for us here in the United States, right? And it goes to your phone, or you can even, if you need someone else to answer the phone, you can have it forwarded to them. It's so many things to do where people don't know that it's actually your cell phone. It still can be considered an office number, right? And it's cool because they just took away the transcription process that came through the email, but that's okay. You still can get it transcribed even on your text messages, right? So it's kind of cool. But back to so you got your phone number, right? So when you get your business cards, you definitely want to have a different number than your cell phone number. You want to have an email address with your domain name. Next, you have calendars. I use the calendars, believe it or not, even if you have 4 Gmail accounts, you want to sync those calendars. If a lot of times if I'm talking to a new client or I'm networking and they tell me about, okay, we're going to meet for coffee, I will go ahead and send them a link from there, right? Because what I notice, it gets a little irritating when people don't come on time or they just don't show up. So what I always do, I will set the calendar, depending upon if I'm working with someone and I know what they're doing. If I don't, I'll do it one day before. Then I'll do it either 1 or 2 hours before the appointment time. You can put these notifications on, and then I'll do a few minutes before, which kind of lets us know that, okay, we're sitting in front of each other. It's time to get this meeting started because we need to be on a time, be time sensitive, right? Time is money, they say. When you use up too much time, you're missing your money, right? So you want to make things count. So the calendar is really important. And then I don't know if everybody knows, but on Gmail, there's a to-do. So to the right side, it's a little icon. You click it and you can do your to-do list every night. So I'm all about systems. I'm all about time management. I'm all about, not very good all the time with time management, but I can manage someone else's time. I'm all about just knowing what you have to do through the week. I am a writer, so I like to write down, or even if I type it, to me it's the same, what I need to do in that order and try to get as close as possible. Yeah, I already know I'm not doing very well on these 30-day challenges. But anyway, so the to-do list. Now, I just learned about Keep. I love, love, love Keep. It almost works like a to-do list, but I love it because I use Basecamp. So it kind of works as a project management software. You can use this for your team and have it where it's almost like Dropbox. So I can link other people that I'm working with on this. So we have a list that we have to do. This is how we can share it. So it shares in the cloud. And if I accomplish something, I can click on it. You will see it. I don't have to email someone and say it was done. They don't have to email me and say that it was done. We just can update. Okay, which throws me into the drive. Most of us should know how to use the drive, and that is so important when you're out somewhere and you need to get a document. Again, for now, just trust. When I say trust the systems, you trust the systems, but you have systems for systems. So you still can keep documents on your laptop or computer. You still can use a flash drive. You still can have a backup for the flash drive and a backup for the backup. That's fine if you're that, what we call anal. Sometimes I just say stuff happens, okay? It's another word for that, but stuff happens. And if it does, it does. But if you have things in the cloud, for now, Google is pretty sure as safe as it can be. But again, that's a good reason why you're sharing with your team. So if you go into the drive, you have documents, because I wouldn't do it at first. I only like Microsoft Word, and that's it. But then I found out if I use those docs, if I pull it up into my drive, any changes that I make, same with Keep, then the other people can see it as well. So it works wonders for project management. Again, it eliminates that texting. Did you do this? Did you do this? Is this done? No, I'm going to know it because you're going to check. You're going to change something. If I need someone else to change a document, I'm busy, or vice versa, I can do it and they'll see it. They can print it, whatever they need to do. Same thing with the spreadsheet. Love that as well. And then surveys to find out if you want to get a meeting together. You make a quick survey, send it out to everybody. And there's another one, I forgot what it's called, but it's free too with this Doodle, I think it's called. But anyway, free. So people can say what's the best time for them. And you're not just wasting time going back and forth. What's your best days? No. What's your best days? Right? And in the midst of that calendar, I actually use Calendly, which I use the free version, so people can see anything I update in my calendar, it'll show blocked off. So if I want to make an appointment or I tell someone just look on my calendar, I can send them the link. They can make that appointment with me. Right. I haven't all the way got comfortable with that because sometimes my meetings go over, but I'm learning to work that out, right? So if I have a timing on Calendly, I can actually put 30-minute gaps in there, meaning that 30-minute blocks that I won't do a meeting, right? And that gives me some little leeway time. And then I mentioned the email addresses, and building it for a team. Now, for nonprofit organizations, G Suite, I know through GoDaddy is free for a year. It used to be you could use, when they were in the pilot, you could use Gmail for free with a private domain name, right? Now that's not possible. You have to buy G Suite, and there's a lower price for nonprofits, or it's free for the first year. Now, for profits, I think it's a wise investment to do G Suite. Again, it allows you to have that domain name or the private email address, but still have that Google back end, that back office of Google, so you can use all those tools for your company, right? And lastly, because I mentioned accounting software, I learned from an accountant. And I'm giving these information because all this stuff is free, so can't do affiliate because it's all free. But Wave apps, and it's, even though it says Wave app, it is only on desktop, laptop, whatever desktop version. They do not have an app yet, but it works just like QuickBooks. Now, if a certified public accountant pretty much endorsed it, I think it's safe to use. And I have found whether you're doing invoices, you can use it like PayPal. I was advised not to, but if your business is linked that way, then that's fine too. You use your invoices, but it does the whole accounting software. So when you want to know your financials, you want to know your profit and loss statement as part of the financials, or you just want to see your cash flow in your business. And I just think it is wise to start off with accounting. I don't care if you're not making a dollar. Set it up. For us in the States, we can connect it to our bank account. I use it for both private, for my personal, as well as my business. And if I have a client that I'm working with, I can actually add them. I can become admin. There's different levels, just like social media. There's different levels that I can have and be connected to their accounting software. And let me tell you, when you see the money that you're spending and the money that you may be wasting is what you find out. You start to become a little bit more particular and cautious on the money that you're spending, and you kind of go, I'll say, a little harder or more aggressive in getting more clients, getting more sales, right? So even if you're doing the digital marketing and you're online, connect your bank account to this, because technically you should not be commingling. And I always tell my nonprofits, because it's really against the law. It's against the law anyway for us, but they're stricter when it comes to a nonprofit. Nonprofit funds, if it comes from the business or from donation, needs to go in a business account. Your business, you should have money separate. Just quick lesson, if any of you are, you are paying your personal bills out of your business account, please stop. Please stop. Please stop. Because even when we're small and we're doing things, we want to get in a habit before we get larger, right? So that's why a lot of people end up going to jail for millions of dollars of misappropriating funds. And it could be your own bills, your own money that's coming in. You want to have that separate, because the biggest thing for us is tax, what monies are to be taxed. So if you only do your business and you take what they call an owner's draw, you put it in your personal account, then you pay your bill, your personal bill. Takes a little time, but once you get used to it, it's very easy. And then you'll start figuring out how you should pay yourself. And you pay yourself a certain amount, even if it's $200 every week or every 2 weeks, it doesn't matter. Get in the habit now. But you don't want to get caught commingling. That means you're mixing your personal business with your, or I said the same word. You're mixing your personal affairs with your business affairs. Let's say it that way so I can show separately. So that's just a little bit of what I do when it comes to systems and dealing with that admin part of things, administrative part of things. That's the biggest part of my education a lot of times with nonprofit organizations as well as my for-profits. And once I can get that old way out of them, we're good. We can grow, and we see it grow. It's amazing. So these are my little no cost to low cost systems to put in place, the bare minimum that we all should be doing, all 2,000 plus of us on this group. All right, that's it. I took a little longer tonight because I wanted to. And I hope somebody got something out of it. And